Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar series. I'm so excited to welcome Chelsea Bennett from Lulu. She's going to be talking about how to publish advanced review copies, spiral bound books on Lulu, and how to use their amazing dropship feature. I brought my own workbook for show and tell, Chelsea, by spiral bound that I get through Lulu. Now, Lulu is a sponsor of the association, but they're a sponsor because I love them. And I've actually been printing workbooks there for like 15 plus years. So our workbooks, we love them. And I specifically asked Chelsea to cover this topic because those of you who know us and know me, I am a huge proponent of workbooks. Advanced review copies are super important. And I just love the dropship feature and so many cool features on Lulu. It's surprisingly easy to upload your files and get your books done. So without further ado, I want to mention, if you have questions, please pop them in the Q&A. We will save time at the end. And I am now going to hand it over to Chelsea. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. Thank you for spending some time with me today. If you weren't here for the pregame chat, I will reiterate that I am deep in the mountains of North Carolina right now. And I think I've got a good connection, but I apologize in advance if I freeze in a very unflattering pose or cut out. I will be happy to go over anything that you may have missed in that time, but I'm putting all of my positive vibes and energy out to the internet so that it'll give me a strong connection as we stay through this. So as Stephanie said, I'm Chelsea. I am with Lulu, and I'm going to talk to you today about how to use Lulu to create your ARCs, how to use our drop shipping feature, and how to use direct sales. If you've ever seen any of my presentations, this little furry face will be familiar to you. This is who I call Business Cat, and I feel like I can't really do a presentation without him. So he's always here with me. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about Lulu to get started. If you're not familiar with us, I always like to let people know that Lulu is a real word. It's not just a fun mouth sound. It's actually a real word. That means a remarkable person, object, or idea. We were founded in 2002 by Bob Young. So we've been going to more events lately now that they are in-person events are more of a thing. Shout out to NFAA for doing virtual events before they were cool. But we're going out to events now. And some people will be like, oh, are you guys a startup? Are you new? I'm like, no, we've been around for quite a while. So been around since 2002 and founded by Bob Young. Our platform is free to use. I'll talk about that more. We have printed over 3 million books and paid out over $117 million in author revenues. That number is staggering. I feel like I'm always saying it wrong when it's just so huge. And then our mission is that we are dedicated to making the world a better place, one book at a time, through sustainable practices, innovative print-on-demand products, and a commitment to excellent service. All right, my last little factoid that I will share with you. Well, actually, everything I'll be sharing with you is a factoid about Lulu. But one of my favorite is that we are a certified B Corp. So if you aren't familiar with the B Corp movement, it just means for-profit companies certified by the nonprofit B Lab to meet standards of social, environmental, performance, accountability, and transparency. I'm really proud of Lulu for taking this pledge and commitment to try to make this world that we live on a little bit more inhabitable and better for all of us that share it. But it extends to a lot more of our practices, from using print-on-demand technology to how we treat our employees and our authors. The holidays will be upon us very soon, and I encourage everyone to check out B Corps if you haven't already. All right, so I've said it, you've seen me, I am Chelsea. Again, if you're here for a little bit of the pregame, you may have heard me talk about my cat, Batman. That is him on my shoulders. I used to carry him around like that when he was a kitten. He is now a man. It is not as comfortable, but we did it for the photos. So I am Lulu's education and community manager. So I get to do things like this and hopefully educate folks about Lulu and build our community. So hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit of that here today. Okay, so I'm assuming that some of you are familiar. Stephanie was very kind in talking about her real world experience with Lulu, and I'm just so glad that she's had that. It's a very different experience when you kind of come on a situation like this and the person hasn't heard of you or hasn't used you. So it's great to have someone as credible as Stephanie to be able to say, yes, we do good work. So we do spiral bound, as we'll talk about, but we also do a lot of other books. So I like this slide. I like to try to include it because it's really a great smattering, smattering, is that a word? Of just some of the different books that we do, some of the different things that we offer. So I'll kind of go through some of these, but we've got one of my all-time faves, Big Bellied Merbabes, a body positive coloring book. We see a lot of coloring books and low or no content books on Lulu. If you look to the right of that, you'll see a couple more examples. Consciously Creating is another low and no content notebook. Today is the Day, a great journal. Then we have more traditional nonfiction books. The majority of our authors are nonfiction. So we've got 52 weeks of awesome leadership. Beside of that, we've got an awesome calendar that I love. This is a great time of year because we'll see a ton of folks who are in animal rescue or just have cute pets make calendars, and I always love to see that. Down at the bottom half, we've got Black Music Is, which is a really beautiful children's book that was written by Charleston's poet laureate, Marcus Amaker. Tiny Home, Big Flava is a cookbook, your typical novel, How My Ancestors Drank Whiskey. West Virginia Wasteland Bestiary, another fave, that's more of a graphic novel. Nutrition Code, photo book is Becking. A is for Apperdu is a children's book. And The Secret Life of Speaking Up was created by a speaking coach who wanted to kind of dare you or encourage you to find your voice. To, as you go throughout your day, if speaking publicly is something that terrifies you, then buying this book can kind of help you go throughout your day and sort of meet those challenges and find that courage that you have to speak up and erase that fear of public speaking. So what else do we do? Those are some of the books that we make. I kind of like to start with that so that people can get a framework of what we do. We really run the gamut in the books and projects you can create with Lulu, but we do a lot more than just books. As I mentioned earlier, it's free to publish on Lulu. So you don't pay for anything, and so you want to buy print copies of your books. There are no upload or revision fees, so I'm always excited to mention that. We have a ton of free resources. So we have a blog, we have a great YouTube channel that we're very active on, and all the other social medias you can find us on. I was in a meeting, or I saw that we were having a meeting about Threads. Can't stop, won't stop with the social media stuff. So if you are interested in finding more free resources about Lulu, definitely check those out. We also have over 3,000 possible format, color, and size variations. These include paperback, coil bound, as Stephanie mentioned, hardcover, case wrap and dust jacket, saddle stitch, and calendar wire O bindings. We do free ISBNs, or you can bring your own. We have a built-in cover tool that we're really excited about that we launched this year. Hire a pro page as well. So if you need help with cover design, formatting, or editing, you can go to lulu.com/partners and find some great resources there. An order import tool. So if you are doing pre-orders, or maybe you're doing a Kickstarter for your project, you can bring your CSV or XSLX file and upload it to Lulu, so you can place all those orders and ship them at one time instead of going through a huge list of backers or orders and placing them one at a time. We have a global print network, so wherever your readers are, we can get your books. I think we have 7 print facilities right now around the world. We're always trying to grow that. So that really helps us negate some of our carbon footprint and get your books to the readers quickly. And we have multiple ways to sell. So I will touch on that a little bit later, but we've got the Lulu bookstore, we've got global distribution and Lulu Direct, and I will talk about those as we get into our drop shipping options. All right, so how do we do what we do? Well, as I said, it's free to publish. So you just create an account. Oh my gosh, I'm so rude. This is Ruben the Bulldog. This handsome gentleman, when I talked about pet calendars, his human every year makes a calendar of Ruben's shenanigans throughout the year. So I kind of forget that he's there, and that was very rude of me. So everyone say hey to Ruben. All right, so how do we do it? As I said, free to create an account on Lulu. You just need to create your account, upload your cover file and your interior file to Lulu's publishing platform, and I will show you a little walkthrough of that in a bit. Since we use print-on-demand technology, there are no minimums or maximums. You just pay for the books you need when you need them. And of course, that also means that you don't have to worry about inventory with any of our printing solutions. So we're always excited about that as well. As I mentioned, over 3,000 formats to choose from. And I believe it's the next slide. I'll show you how to find those on Lulu. And then we have global distribution and direct sales. So with all of our options, you can sell the way that you need to and that makes sense to you. I like to remind people that it doesn't have to be either or. I've been at Lulu for about 6 years now. And when I first started, people would always come up to me and ask, should we use you or Amazon or you or Ingram Spark, or I'm traditionally published and should I go that route or look into self-publishing? And I think for any publishing path you choose, Lulu can come along and support your goals and what you're going for. But the beauty of the world that we live in today is you can pick and choose. You can make whatever situation and solution is going to work for you. And I will talk about that a bit more. Okay, so today we are here to talk about how to print and order ARCs on Lulu. I am more of a visual learner, so I have some videos included here that I would like to show, or some tutorials. They're really screen recordings. I may be overhyping them if I say videos, they're just screen recordings. But when you go to Lulu to print your ARCs or your galley copies or your proof copies or anything like that, I always encourage people to start by looking at our templates and our products to figure out what you want. So as Tiffany said, we have coil bound. That's a great option for you if you are sending out ARCs or galley copies or editing or proof copies. A coil bound version is great because of course it can lay flat. You can flip it back and get into it, and then it's just easier to write in. So I'm going to show you in this next slide how you can find our different product sets and our template bundles. So a great thing about Lulu is that once you know what you want to make, we will provide you free templates for your interior and cover files. So that can help you get through the process and make sure that when you come to upload and publish and print, you won't have any hiccups there. All right, so let's see if this will play. It will, it is, perfect. So you can see this little ghost hand. This is past Chelsea going through our website. So from the home page, you can just go up to products. You'll see this great little hero image here. And then you can scroll down to all the product types you can make on Lulu. So obviously we do print books, photo books, notebooks. You can see our calendars, graphic novel or comic book, magazine, cookbooks. Again, shout out to Coilbound, yearbooks and ebooks as well. And then down here, you'll see our book sizes. And what I'm doing right there is calling out that icon. That means that these sizes and trim sizes and formats are eligible for global distribution. And we've got banana for scale. So if you are interested in going through global distribution, you will want to pick out variations that have that icon. And then once you know what you're looking for, you can download book templates or go to our book pricing calculator, which you can also find in the top nav. And then you can see our paper types here. And then we have our book bindings. So we've got perfect bound, coil bound, saddle stitch, our hardcover options with case wrap and hardcover linen wrap, and then calendar. We've got glossy covers, we've got matte covers. I definitely favor the matte personally, but hey, you're the author, it's up to you. And then our linen wraps as well, and our ebook formats to round it out. So at the bottom of the page, you can also find a link to our book pricing calculator. I love this tool. It's one of my favorite things about Lulu because once you know what your trim size is, what format you're looking for, and your page count, then you can go to our book pricing calculator and put all those in. You can get your per unit cost. Oh.
Got a couple requests for you to slow down, Chelsea.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is her natural way. She's a fast
Yes,
talker.
I am. I know. It's hard to believe that I'm born and raised in the South, the way I talk. Okay. Yes, I will slow it down. I'll take a sip of water to reel it back in.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes.
Let me also add, you can turn on closed captioning if that's helpful for some of you. That is available.
I will also add to that addition that when you play this back, if you play it in half speed, that could be helpful as well. But I know that I have a lot to cover. So, and the next, I have another video for you on the next slide, and I will try to walk through that a little bit slower as we go through. So what I really wanted to take away from this slide was just kind of understanding where to find our products and our pricing calculators. So from the Lulu homepage, you can go to our products tab, and then you can see everything that we have. So that way you can get an idea of what you want your ARCs to look like. Again, that can look really different than what your published final project looks like, but this is just a good place to start so you can get an understanding of not only what all we offer, but what is eligible for global distribution. And what that means is books that are eligible to be put through Ingram, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble. Those suppliers will not create every trim size or will not manufacture every trim size that we carry. So if you do want to put your books through global distribution, then just be sure that you are selecting options that do have that green icon up in the on the corner, or it's denoted with that green icon. All right, I feel like I took it down a couple notches. I hope that that is the case. All right, so this next slide that I have for you is going to be our, let's see if I can advance. There we go. This is going to be to upload and print. So I have it here. I think that it'll look okay. Let me see if I play it, if the quality is degraded. No, actually it looks okay. Okay, so in this video, and this one is longer, so I won't have to just like get my works out as fast as possible. What I'm showing you here is how to create a project on Lulu. As I mentioned, I'm more of a visual learner. I like to be able to see the insides of how things work. So I thought that it would be helpful to just show you exactly what you will be looking at when you go to publish your work on Lulu. So what you're seeing me do is just go select my options. You can do a print or publish, and then it just prompts you with all the information that you will need to publish your work, from everything from the book title to the language and the project type. So here you'll have two paths that you can go, actually three. You can publish your book on Lulu's bookstore through global distribution or through Lulu Direct, or you can just print it and then kind of skip everything but the start and then the details and then the print. So on this one, again, you can see that I'm just going through and putting in all of the information needed. You can get quite granular with your projects on Lulu. It just depends on, what information you want to be included in the book description and what you feel is important to include. You hear it, I'm putting in the author name, Jack London. Call of the Wild is public domain, so this is not a copyright infringement. And here you can choose your copyright level on Lulu. So at Lulu, we don't own the copyright, you do. You can take it or leave it at any time. You can see here the different copyright levels that we offer. I would recommend, if you are confused about that or unsure which is right for you, to just do some research, and Google will tell you what's available to you and what you need. So here is where you can get an ISBN from us. So in this example, I am grabbing one from Lulu. And if you want to take one, that's great. But just be aware that the imprint will say lulu.com. So I think in a second, my phantom hand will call that out. Lulu, oh, there we go. Yeah. So when you use a Lulu ISBN, it will say that Lulu is the publisher. That may or may not matter to you, but I always like to call that out. Alternatively, if you bring your own ISBN, then you are able to put in your own imprint and use Lulu essentially as a white label service. This is how you upload your files to Lulu. So as I mentioned previously, you will need an interior file and a cover file PDF. You see here that I just dragged and dropped from my desktop my PDF file, and it formatted for me. It was accepted, which is great. Here, our system is going to try to estimate what your book size is, and then you can kind of go through and check the specifications of the book. So black and white versus color, your paperweight, and your binding type. And I will say there are some specifications that will gray out some options. So if your page count isn't high enough, then you may not be eligible for, a coil bound, or if your page count is too high, it may be too high for a saddle stitch or paperback. So we have the minimums and maximums listed under each trim size to make that easy for you. And then here I'm uploading my cover. Now you see here that we also have the quick cover template. You can use that. And we have our Canva plugin as well. But now we also have our own cover creator tool. So if you are familiar with how to use Canva, then our cover creator tool is very, very similar. You can move or import elements and design in a very similar way. So it's a very robust tool and great if you just kind of need something quickly, or I think I might have made this cover in there. So, I mean, it's very intuitive and a great option for you if you don't have a graphic designer. And if you do have a graphic designer that you're working with, which we always recommend, you can just download the PDF and upload that here. This is our book preview tool. So as you have your cover file and interior uploaded. You can flip through it to make sure everything's good. Use those guidelines to make sure everything is within the bleed and the trim area, that your margins are good. Download your print ready files. Always recommend to do that so you have that copy on hand, and then add your book details. So here you will just go through and add the project details of your book. Here, I'm just such a wordsmith. So here's me coming up with some project details for this book. So this will go in your metadata. This will help readers find you. On the Lulu bookstore, this is what will be displayed. So if you choose to sell through the Lulu bookstore, this is what your readers will see. You can also do contributor notes if you would like to, that's optional. And then your table of contents if you would like to include that as well. So keywords, if you're not familiar with how SEO works, SEO and understanding how to use that SEO and SEM is a huge asset to you as you're selling your book online. Stephanie and I were talking the other day just about how hard it is to get your book found, get it in front of people, and SEO and SEM are a great way to do that. So if you can master that, learn your keywords. BISAC categories are your friends. If you're not familiar with what that is, we have a couple videos on BISAC categories and how to use them. But we definitely encourage you to use them. I think, let's see, 2 are recommended. More than that are recommended as well, so that when bookstores are shelving your books, as you are selling them online, they're categorized appropriately. So just filling in my keywords here. Again, this will help people find your books. If you are looking for a book about sled dogs, the Gold Rush, or Jack London, obviously Call of the Wild is great for you. And then you can select your audience here. And then, of course, if you are making a adult material, we ask you to fill that out as well. All right, I was just feeling like I was coming up on the end of the hour. That's how fast I was talking, but we have plenty of time, so that's good. All right, so here, another great thing about Lulu is when you're creating your book, you can set your pricing and payees. You can set either a fixed revenue goal. So if you say, I want to sell every single book for 20 bucks, you can do that. Or if you want to say, I want to make, a fixed price or a revenue goal. If you say I want to make $5 per sale, you can indicate that here too. And then we will tell you what you need to list your book for to make that money through each of our channels. And then under that, you can see the global distribution pricing as well. You will certainly notice that through global distribution, you're going to make a lot less money on your books. However, that's just kind of the name of the game. I mean, going through global distribution means there are more eyes on your books. Your books are sold through more channels. So maybe that, revenue cut through those channels is worth it to you to have it listed on those retailers. Selling on Lulu is going to give you the most revenue per sale outside of selling direct through your website. And I will talk about that as well. Once you have your pricing and payees set up, you can go to the final review. If everything looks good, you can download your source files, print ready files, see your print costs for that book. So I encourage everybody to go through this with a fine-tooth comb, then order a proof copy. So even if everything looks perfect, even if you flip through every single page on the preview tool and felt like everything looked amazing, order the proof copy before you start selling it. I guarantee you, I will hang my hat on this, that you will find something you wish you did differently. So it doesn't matter if you're making a notebook that's just low or no content, a calendar or a novel or your nonfiction book. You will find something that you did wrong. Maybe you wore a weird hat in your author photo. Maybe you forgot to thank your mom. It doesn't matter. You will find something, a comma out of place or something that you would like to do differently. So give yourself the time to print and order a proof copy before you make it available for sale. Once you have all your selections done, then you'll just hit add to cart, I think is what that button said. You get this fun little graphic, which makes you feel great. You did it. You published your book. And then you can go ahead and add it to your cart. Here, what we're showing here is where you want to put your book. So I'll actually pause this. So this is also really important for ARCs as well. So what you can do after you print your book or publish it, you'll have these different options once you publish. So general access means it's on the lulu.com bookstore immediately. That doesn't mean you should do that. Again, proof copy, proof copy, proof copy. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you are in the phase where you're just looking to purchase ARCs, then the general access is something I think you should avoid at that time, because again, general access means anyone on the Lulu bookstore can find your book and order it. Select access means that only people with a specific URL can find your book. This can be a great option for ARCs. So if you just want to put it for now, you say, hey, I don't want to put it in distribution yet. I don't want to sell it through my own website. I just want to make it available for the people who have agreed to read it or review it for your beta readers, whomever. So doing select access is a great option because you can just send to your email list or your Facebook group or whomever or wherever your readers are and say, hey, the ARC is available. You can use this link to find it and buy it. You're the only ones that can find it. So that's a great way to do it as well. And then our last option is what we call private access. And that means you as the account holder are the only one that can find this. So this might be nice if you are, again, just in that editing phase and you want it to be on Lulu. Maybe you're just testing out the platform, but you don't want anyone to be able to find it. Private access is a good option for you. And you can always move between these as needed. The last option on this is our global distribution, which again means that you are selling your book as long as it's eligible, again, denoted by that green globe and the green book, through Amazon, Ingram, or Barnes & Noble. So if you're interested in those retailers, you can include that here. I will say whether your book is going through global distribution or not, or global distribution and the Lulu bookstore, when you click general access, it's available in the Lulu bookstore immediately. Global distribution will take a little bit longer. It can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. I've seen it take much shorter than that, but I have seen it take up to 6 weeks. So this is because Amazon, Ingram, Barnes & Noble, they accept our data in batches. So you could be, maybe the odds are in your favor and you submit your book and it just happens to be the day that they come and upload that data. And so you don't have to wait that long. But I just want to call that out because if you do have a launch event or something that you are prepping or planning for, it's just good to be kind of aware of those timelines so that you're not waiting for it to be uploaded or sending people to one of those channels when it's not there yet. All right, so really all that's left on this slide is looking at this and then showing adding your book to the cart and what that looks like. I am pretty confident you can all kind of do that, but I think if you scroll down, order a proof copy, it's right there on the button. We're encouraging you to do it, all the day is long. So once you hit that, it'll be available in your cart and then you can check out. So there we go. All right. So thanks for going on that journey with me. I hope that was useful and not just, boring hearing me talk over that video. All right. So our next slide is just about how to list and sell ARCs on Lulu. So I went over all this. We've got the general access, select access, and private access. Another thing I wanted to kind of reiterate was just the order import tool. So again, if you do have your own website and that's how you're kind of taking pre-orders, or maybe you have a lot of folks who want the book before and you want to just place the order so they don't have to pay for it, you get all of their email addresses and addresses into a spreadsheet, and then you can just bring it to Lulu through our order import tool, upload that spreadsheet. So if you have, 20 beta readers or 20 people that will read your ARC, upload that all at one time and get those drop shipped out. So all of the orders that Lulu does are drop shipped. Every order that you place, it never has to go to you unless you want it to. It just goes straight to your readers. Even if they come to Lulu to buy the book, it's going straight from our print facilities to them. And as I mentioned, since we have the global print network, it's going to route to the printer that is closest to the reader to help negate some of that shipping time and help with our kind of carbon footprint as well. Just help the environment whenever we can. So that's another great option for you if you are doing ARCs or if you have a lot of people who, again, Kickstarters, this is a really great option for that as well. But if you have a lot of data or orders that you have on hand and you don't want to have to manually put them in one at a time, the order import tool is a great option for you. And I think can be really useful if you are trying to send out a lot of ARCs. That way, they don't have to pay for it. You just pay all at one time and then ship them out. But if you can get them to pay for it, then hey, that's great too. As I mentioned, all of our solutions are powered by print-on-demand technology. So our global distribution is the same, Lulu Bookstore is the same, and Lulu Direct as well. So we hear a lot about going wide in publishing. And what that means is really just putting your book wherever your readers are. You're putting it everywhere that they may traverse on the interwebs, and in person as well. But since we are a technology company, I will stick to the online and not IRL, as the kids say. So when you go live with Lulu, I've mentioned this a couple of times, but we'll kind of dig into each one. So again, we have 3 options for you. The first is to sell through the Lulu Bookstore. It's free to use the Lulu Bookstore. Actually, all of these options are free to use. So we don't charge distribution or production fees, and you keep 80% of your revenue from every book sale. So every time you sell a book through Lulu, if your book costs $5 to make and you sell it for $15, of that $10 of revenue, 8 is going to go to you as the author, 2 is coming to Lulu. For ebooks, that revenue split is 90-10. So I always encourage people to put your books on Lulu, send people there. I think it's a great option for you. If revenue is a goal of yours when you're selling your books, then the Lulu bookstore is quite helpful. And again, your book will be available immediately after you review that proof copy. Our next option is global distribution. So again, this is Amazon, Ingram, Barnes & Noble, and we connect to over 40,000 retailers, libraries, and schools. The way that we do that is because we can tap into Ingram's network. So this is Ingram, not Ingram Spark. If you want your book to be on these retailers, this is a great option. If you want your book to be sold to libraries or bookstores, you know, Ingram is really the only name in the game for wholesalers, and they have all that worked out really well. So by publishing through Lulu, you can use global distribution, put your book in when it's eligible, and then it'll be available on all of these channels. And then last but not least is sell on your site. So I love this option. We call this Lulu Direct, and this means that you completely control the sales and business strategies. You're able to keep customers on your site, and you can keep 100% of your revenue from every book sale. So that 80-20 split I was talking about, that's gone. All the revenue you make from selling directly through your website, you get to keep. Okay, so as I mentioned, we call this direct sales, and we have a couple of different ways to do it. So over here on the left, I've got all the highlights, all the juice goose of why it's good to use Lulu Direct. So selling your books through your own website, I don't think I need to tell any of you why that's so valuable, but to have, you know, there's a lot of conversations now about rented versus owned land. And what that means is that when you're selling through a third party like Amazon or like Lulu's bookstore, things can change. I mean, Amazon's algorithm changes all the time. They can, you know, they're not really interested in making money off of your books, so they can discount things, they can run promos. You really don't have control of how they're changing their algorithm and how your books are going to be served up. And also, if you're selling your books through your own website, the only recommended products on your site can be your products. It doesn't have to be a pair of shoes and a lamp that looks like a whale that Amazon wants to serve up, you know? So selling books through your own website just gives you so much more control. And it has other benefits as well. So as I mentioned, you keep 100% of your profits. That's usually very appealing to authors. You also get to collect customer data. And I think that really this is one of the highlights, maybe my favorite. But I think if you haven't considered what it might mean to you to be able to look into who's actually buying your books, take some time to think about that. Research customer data and what you can do with it. We have some videos on it, but being able to leverage that information to market smarter, to make better connections with your readers is huge as an author. Especially these days, all markets are so saturated. So anything you can use to get that competitive edge, to make those really lasting connections with your readers is going to be really valuable for you. Also, you can use that to grow your email list. So when you're collecting customer data, you can get names, addresses, and emails, and then they're in your email list. And then you can say, hey, did you like my book? Would you leave me a review? I'm doing a promo this week for my next one. Here's a free chapter of one of my other books. So there's just so many opportunities when you can build out that email list and utilize that to grow your business. You automate the print and fulfillment. As I mentioned, everything that we do revolves around print on demand and automation. So when you use Lulu Direct, the orders come through your website, they're transmitted to us through an API, and we print and fulfill the books. So you don't have to worry about trying to go to the post office or ordering them online or ordering in bulk. We're going to take care of that for you. You can also use this as a white label solution. So what that means is that if you want to, hey, we love it when people talk about Lulu. We love it if you want to tell everybody that you use Lulu to print your books. That's amazing, and thank you. But maybe for some reason you don't want to. Maybe you have a brand that you've built and you want it to make it look like it's your imprint and it's your publishing house. And that's fine. We're happy to be second fiddle or side chick or whatever. We just want to be a part of the journey. So if you want to utilize white label shipping, then that just means that when your customers get your books, it has your branding on the invoice and no one knows it's coming from Lulu. No one is none the wiser. So that can be really great for brand continuity. I mentioned this, we have a global print network. You can absolutely tap into that with direct sales with Lulu. you get paid immediately. So this is another thing that people seem to appreciate is that when you're selling directly through your own website, whether it be through Lulu Direct or our print API, you're getting paid immediately. So your readers pay you, you get that, you have access to those funds instantly. If you're selling through the lulu.com bookstore, we pay out either monthly through PayPal or a quarterly via check. So, I mean, monthly is okay, and maybe that works for you. But if you want that sweet, sweet cash as fast as you can get it, then selling direct is a great way to do that. We integrate with Shopify, WooCommerce for WordPress, and our print API. So I think, Shopify is great if you just want an out-of-the-box solution. That's a really wonderful way to get up and running quickly. WooCommerce is great if you're working on a WordPress site. If you want to really have a very customized experience, WooCommerce for WordPress has endless customization and plugin opportunities. So that's a really great option if that's what you're looking for. And then Lulu's Print API. If you already have an e-commerce engine running, just want to plug in a way to print and fulfill books, our Print API is a great way to do that. Okay, time for my favorite part of the presentation. I mean, it's all my favorite part, let's be honest. But here I would like to show you well, not how the sausage is made, but I guess the proof in the pudding, maybe, I don't know. Insert your own food pun there. The proof in the banana pudding, I don't know. So this gentleman does not publish with Lulu yet, at least, but I want to show you some authors that we have at Lulu that are using Lulu Direct and what that looks like. So this is Scribe Forge. So I think I'm picking examples that I think are really beautiful. I think, again, the benefit of selling books on your own website is you get to customize the whole experience. You really get to bring your readers into your world, whether that be fiction or nonfiction. They land on your page and they're immediately in your circle. They can see your other content, and they can just kind of start. You're laying a foundation of how you want them to feel, what you want them to think about while you're on their page, and leading the customer journey instead of, again, sending them to a third-party marketplace where you're a part of it, but you're not all of it. And so selling directly through your website can offer you that. So I think that they've done a beautiful job on their website, just immediately. I mean, this makes me want to build a world right now. I love this. And you can see here that this is the book that they've made through Lulu. Love the coil bound. So
And Chelsea's frozen. Hey, we've gotten so far without her internet freezing. So, Chelsea, you froze up on us. So start back on this slide.
Okay, great. All right. So thank you, Stephanie. So I love what they've done here, but shout out to Coil Bound here. I'll try it. Let's see. All right. They've got the Coil Bound going, which we love, but they essentially just made this notebook and made several different covers for it. So they made one interior file and several different covers to appeal to different readers depending on their genre. But again, they're able to do this and sell all of these within their ecosystem of their website that they have made. All right, next up is an author named Darren Smith. He has made this beautiful book called Craftsman Creative. His whole business is around helping creators build six-figure businesses. And what I love about his website is you land on it, it's very clean, and he's selling his book immediately right in front. So again, he's able to serve up exactly the content that he wants. If he wants to put his book on the very front page, he can. That's what you're going to see. Everyone that comes to his website sees his book first, and that's an incredible opportunity to get readers and convert them to sales as well. So I think he has a great example, and I always like to include him. So definitely check out Darren if you're interested in learning more or kind of seeing how his website is built. And then the next example that we have of Lulu Direct is Clever Girl Finance. So I love this one. I just love their business model, but they're just helping people take control of their, achieve financial freedom and take control of their life. I think we could all use some more of that. But they make planners through us. And another great example of Clever Girl Finance is they are traditionally published, and they use us as well to make planners and journals to help you kind of stay on track with your finances. So they have their traditionally published books that kind of walk you through their methodology. And then they accompany that with their planners and journals to help you keep track of what you're doing as you go along the way. All right, and last but not least is Phoebe Garnsworthy. So again, I love this one. She does, a lot of intention journals, meditations. She also has some nonfiction work as well, some fiction work as well, courses and all of that. But I wanted to show you this part of her website specifically. This is just her homepage above the fold, but she's giving away a free meditation in order to get your email address. So if you have your own website, again, great way to grow your email list and really build those lifelong connections with readers. I mean, social media is great. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to get your message out. But the inbox, I mean, there's so many studies on email marketing and how it is so much more successful than social media marketing. Because think about your inbox. That's sacred space. You don't want anybody coming in your inbox. You don't want anyone sliding into those DMs. When you give out your email address, it's because you like something or you want to hear more, or getting something in exchange, like a free meditation. So Phoebe does a great job. Again, I love her website. Right when you land on it, you feel calm, right? Maybe I should have looked at this before I started talking immediately in this presentation, and it would have kind of taken me down a notch. So Phoebe's another great example. If you scroll down on her homepage, she's selling her books. So you can see her book on rituals, her affirmations journals, all the books that she has available, spiritual guides, Remember the Witch Within, amazing. So you can see how she's got all these available. When you sell through your own website, you can have these buy buttons. So if I were to click into buy paperback, then I stay on her website. I don't have to leave and go anywhere else. She gets that information. She gets the sale. She's able to make more money from that and get my contact information so we can stay in touch. Okay, so we're coming to the end of it. Thank you all for staying with me, sticking with me through fast and slow and internet and not internet. But I just want to share with you some free sources that we have available for you. So Lulu University is our YouTube channel. I will note that if this presentation was grating to you, then skip it because I do all of our videos. So if you would like to read this information, then our blog is amazing as well. We update that several times a month with product reviews, new feature updates at Lulu, just best practices. We have our Lulu knowledge base, which is where you can just find, frequently asked questions, how to get in touch with our support staff, articles on using all of our systems and products and features. And then I invite you all to follow us at lulu.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are interested, follow us on our blog or our YouTube channel, or our social media channels. All right, so now I will open it up for questions. And also I'll just say my email address is at the bottom. If I was talking too fast, if I froze up when you really needed some information, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to answer any questions that you have.
That was great. You only froze up that one time, so we got super lucky.
All right.
If everyone's grabbed the email address, can we go ahead and do the stop share? And then we've got a bunch of questions to hammer you with, Chelsea, but
great.
That was great. So thank you for that. So global distribution, we had several people asking, does it include the Middle East? Does it include Canada? Does it include China? So can you address that? Oh, I jinxed it. She's locked up again.
Oh, I was hoping it was you. Okay. So
no. Okay. Did you hear my question?
I did not. If you could try that again.
Okay. So does global distribution include Middle East, Canada, China? People wanted to know more about that.
Yes, it includes everything. That's a great question. The only places we can't get your books are places that are red listed by FedEx. So anywhere that FedEx can deliver, we can get your books. So absolutely. And we have print facilities in Canada and Australia as well. I know that those places can be tricky, but we have print facilities in both of those countries. So we don't have any problems getting your books around those areas.
Canada gives you a big competitive advantage, I will say. Barbara asked, how does your global distribution compare with Ingram Spark?
So I'm imagining that Ingram Sparks is very similar. So I think it really depends on what product you're making. So I would just encourage you to do your research. I mean, we distribute through Ingram. So all of the channels that Ingram Spark can get you through, I believe that we can as well. But if you already have your books on Ingram Spark, maybe it makes sense for you to stick through that channel. If you need a direct sales option, maybe it makes sense to integrate with Lulu Direct and just, again, create whatever ecosystem is going to make the most sense for you and your book. But I think it depends on what your goals are. So if you are really, if pricing or how much your books cost or what, your sales channels, if you can sell direct or not, it just kind of goes into that research that you have to kind of look into to see what option has what you need. So I think that they're probably very similar. Our direct sales option is probably what sets us apart the most from them, but I can't speak to what everything Ingram Spark has.
Well, and I would say, Chelsea, because Ingram Spark is a division of Ingram,
Yes.
Ingram is the largest supplier of books to stores, and Lulu distributes their Ingram. So yeah, your book should be available anywhere that Ingram distributes books. So to me,
That's
that
right.
should be comparable. There's no reason it wouldn't be comparable.
Yes. I don't know if Ingram Spark distributes through Amazon. I'm sure they do.
They do.
Yeah,
They do.
yeah.
But you do too, right?
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it's very apples to apples. That's so like you kind of have to get into the kind of fine print and details to see which might be the best choice for you. Lulu.
And so this is a similar question. Can books be ordered through bookstores? Because Lulu's interface is so much easier than Ingram Spark. So again, Ingram distribution makes your book available to bookstores, right?
Yes, yes, it does. And I think again, anyone who wants to get into bookstores, Ingram is the biggest name of the game. You can absolutely do that through Lulu and list the book on there. And also, if you have local bookstores, you can have conversations with them about how they want to purchase. But we can put your books on Ingram, and then hopefully that'll make it easier for any bookstores that are fine. But I will say, as far as ordering them, they will probably just go through Ingram's system. I mean, if they're already ordering most of their books through big Ingram, like parent company Ingram, they'll probably continue to do that, but they can absolutely buy them from Lulu. We do bulk discounts and all of that stuff. So absolutely.
Can you use Lulu to create and publish professional looking photo albums?
Yes, we do. You can. We do photo books, and I encourage anyone next week, actually, shameless promotion, we're doing a webinar on how to create photo books on Lulu, but we have, I think 80-pound glossy paper is the paperweight that we go with. As you saw in that video that I was rambling through, we have hardcover as well as paperback. So, you can really run the gamut, make a really beautiful coffee table photo book if that's what you're looking for.
One of our members did that with his cookbook. Beautiful,
Yes.
full color photos. It came out beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Anne asked, will the same cover file work for KDP print as for Lulu? I know that Ingram uses thinner paper than KDP, so I need a cover with a narrower spine.
Okay, well, great question. What I can tell you is that we have, with our new cover creator tool and custom templates that we have available, you can get your specific spine. If you have your page count and your book size, we will do the math for you. And previously, that was there's some very complicated equation that you can do to get your spine width, or you can work with a designer. But now with our custom templates, you can put in the specifications of your book, and we will make exactly what you need for your book, or give you that template. So we just need a PDF. We need one PDF file for your cover. So if that is what KDP has, or if that is what they accept, then that should work for us. But again, just try it. I mean, it costs nothing to create an account, bring it over, try to upload it, see if you get an error, and then, we'll be happy to help you work around that if necessary.
So I tested this, and I took files that I was using on another platform and uploaded to Lulu, and I just had to have my designer make very minor tweaks to the size, I think the dimensions of the file, that they work just fine. So you can use your same print files with just some minor tweaks.
Yes, and we'll tell you in our publishing wizard, which you saw me walk through, what those dimensions are. So like Stephanie said, if you are getting an error, then you can send those dimensions to your designer and say, hey, can you help me? This is what I need it to be. So hopefully it'll be a pretty easy fix for you.
So Monica asked, can you add spaces or insert page breaks for the ARC, for the advanced review copy? I mean, you're uploading a full file, right? So you would...
Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want. Hey, you're in the driver's seat, Monica. So if you want blank pages and every other page, do it. Whatever you upload is what we're going to print. So you have full control over what's in it and how it's spaced and how it looks in the end.
Monica asked, how long does it take to get the book once ordered?
Oh, great question. Yes. So since we are print on demand, it'll usually take about 3 to 5 business days for the book to print. Again, I've seen it done faster than that. I've seen it take longer than that, especially around the holidays. So if you are kind of thinking that you want to make a book for the holidays, give yourself plenty of time to do that. But typically it'll be, I always tell people to give yourself about 2 weeks to order and get the book, because you have the print, but then there's also some shipping on top of that, which you can manipulate a little bit. But the print is usually about 3 to 5 business days.
Renee says, does it cost more to publish if you have more photos?
Yes. Well, it depends on how you lay them out. I mean, if you have a ton of photos, but you put them on 2 pages, then that'll be very cost effective. But if you have a lot of photos and you need 1 photo per page, then that will, increase the cost. More pages are going to equal the higher print cost. So I mentioned earlier the book pricing calculator. If you go to lulu.com/pricing, you can put in the specifications of your book. And if you know how many pages or how many photos you want to print, then that'll give you a really good idea of what you can expect to pay per unit.
So to clarify that, can you print just a few pages in color, or does the whole interior have to come off a color printer like it does on Ingram Spark and Amazon?
Yes, I mean, you can print just a few pages in color, but if you choose, I mean, we only have right now the option to say my book will be black and white or my book will be in color. So if you want the interior file to have color in it, but maybe it's mostly black and white, you're still going to need to pick, I mean, I would say standard color rather than color premium. So you can kind of manipulate the final price there. But yes, you will have to kind of go through a kind of an all or nothing. Like even if you want 1 page in color, you'll have to select color for the interior.
So you might as well do as much color as you want if you're going to do
Why not? Yeah, go for it.
Linda asks, what is white label drop shipping?
Oh, so white label drop shipping, what we mean by that is that whenever you we've got all of it going on today. Everybody tuned in is very lucky. So white label drop shipping just means that when someone orders your book, so this is only with Lulu Direct or our print API, but what it means is that someone orders your book, and then when they get it in the mail, it has your branding on the packaging or on the shipping insert. So it doesn't say Lulu anywhere. So if you want to, if for instance, I wanted to make my own publishing imprint like Chelsea Publishes, then my readers would get the book, and on the packing insert, it would say Chelsea Publishes. It wouldn't say Lulu.
Perfect. Linda says, what is print API? What did you mean by Lulu's API?
API means application programming interface. And basically what that is that a message is sent to us to do something. I mean, I've heard it explained like when you go to a restaurant and you get the menu, you pick out what you want, the waiter comes back with your dish. That's essentially what an API is. So what our print API is you pick out your book, you send it to us to make, and you get the final product in the end. You don't have to see kind of how the sausage is made, if you will. It just means it's a connection to our print network so we can make a specific, file or different products that you have set up on your end. Hopefully that made sense.
We're going to squeeze in a couple more here. Any integrations with Zapier? Zapier. I never know how to say that. Zapier.
Yeah, that's a good question. Stay tuned. Is all I will say about that.
If drop shipping or selling through the Lulu store, does Lulu deal with the sales tax for shipping to different locations in the US? Great question, Anne.
Yes, if you're selling through the Lulu bookstore, we will handle all of that. You don't have to worry about that. We take all of that on. And you'll, of course, get your tax forms at the end of the year, but just for you as like the creator and getting revenue. But as far as state tax and all of that, we have that worked out for you.
I think we've addressed all the distribution questions. Oh, some people want to know how to register for that photo book webinar. If you could send me the registration link,
great.
I will share that with the recording today. How about that?
That would be great. Yes, I will send out the link. Of course, it's free to register. It'll be next Wednesday. We're having an award-winning nature photographer, Jeremy Janis, is going to come on and talk to us how he makes his books on Lulu. And I'm very excited. I would love to have you guys there. So yes, I will send the
link. How easy is it to have color and black and white photos in the book? I think we just addressed that. You either choose black and white printing or color printing, and that's about how you lay out the book, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can do both for sure. But when it comes time to print, remember, if you want color in your book, you have to choose a color interior, either standard color or standard or premium color. Yeah.
How do shipping costs figure into pricing?
Well, so that depends. So if you're selling through the lulu.com bookstore, the readers or your customers will choose their shipping rate. I mean, I think we have maybe 5 or 6 different, from like 2-day to overnight to, your standard ground or mail. So your readers will decide how fast they want that book, and they will choose which one is appropriate. If you're selling direct through your own website, you can decide. You can say, hey, I don't want my readers to have to pay shipping, so I'm going to build that into my price. Or you can do weight-based shipping, where you say, if you buy 3 books, shipping is free, or, something like that. So again, that just kind of is another example of the control that you have when you are selling through your own website. Because if you decide, I don't want my readers to have to pay shipping, you can incur those costs. If you decide I'm going to set the price that includes shipping so they don't have to go through that step, you can do that as well. Or you can map to our shipping rates and offer those too. So it can work out different ways. It just sort of depends on how you're selling your book.
So Suzanne wanted some clarity around what an advanced review copy is, what to use them for. I mean, traditionally they were for media to give early copies out, but they're used for all different kinds of reasons now. Chelsea, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so advanced reader copies are really, I mean, I think, and Stephanie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I look at them as just your, galley copies or advanced reader, I'm sorry, or beta readers. You can send those out for those. I think it kind of depends on what you need and how you want to use them. I mean, just because I think traditionally, like Stephanie was saying, if you wanted to send them to bookstores or libraries or stuff like that, you can use them, or media. But these days, if you wanted to get one just to send it out to your beta readers and say, hey, this is pretty much what the final thing is going to look like. What do you think? Can you kind of go through it? Pretend like you just pulled this off the shelf. And is there anything I should change? So it's kind of, I would say it's sort of a proof copy that you share with other people is maybe the way that I would
Exactly. That's exactly right. Beta readers, maybe peers, influencers, people that you want to get the book to ahead of release is really what you would use ARCs for.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly, turnaround time for spiral workbooks. How long do those take?
Those are going to be about the same, the 3 to 5 business days. I would say that when you start getting, I don't remember what the exact page count is, but I know that when you start getting up there with like a tome and a coil bound, then those have to be hand done. So that might take a little bit longer. But it'll be about 3 to 5 business days in a standard situation.
And then standard versus premium color. You're not the only one that offers that, but it's a huge difference. Can you just quickly explain the difference?
Yeah, I mean, standard color is really, again, in those situations we were talking about, where maybe you only have 1 or 2 color images. Maybe you just have chapter titles that you want in color. Or I've seen people that are maybe making notebooks or journals and they want to have some pretty graphics that are in color, but really it's going to be black and white. So standard color is really best for things that don't have a ton of images in them or a ton of saturation. So I wouldn't say any like full page, really heavy things that you really want to pop. Standard color is not going to be the right choice for you. When you go premium color, you're getting that glossy page, you're getting the thicker paper, so you're able to see just things in a more traditional kind of photo book way, if that makes sense. So I would just say, if you have a ton of photos and you want them to really pop off the page, go premium. If you only have a few, then standard will work for you.
And premium's going to cost like twice as much in my experience. And so it really makes a big difference if you're going to go standard versus premium. So make sure you keep that in mind as well. So as we wrap up, I have to show you some of the workbooks that we created and sold back in 2006, 7, and 8. Now, this is a testament to please don't design your own book covers.
She said it, not me. Yes.
And then this I went on to print as a regular book. This online marketing for authors, I actually sold to a literary agent. She got a book deal. They renamed it. I thought my title was better. But anyway, I just had to like show you guys how long I have loved Lulu. And these always make me laugh because the covers are so bad.
No, but I love that. I love that you're willing to share them and show them. It's just right up there with your books signing picture that you like to show as well. So I love all of that. You're leading by example, and now you know, and you're making beautiful work. So
I learned some lessons the hard way. Well, you're getting lots of thank yous from our audience. Chelsea, you're always so wonderful. We really appreciate your time today. Thank you. And I will send out a link to the recording. You're going to send me a link to register for your webinar next week, and we will share that as well. And a copy of the slides. Is that?
Yes, I can do
great.
the slides. They won't have the video in them, but you can see everything that I rambled through. So again, if you do the replay, do it half speed. Maybe that'll be helpful. Thank you so much, everybody, for bearing with me and getting through that. I hope to see you guys next week. And thank you so much, Stephanie. I always enjoy spending time with you.
Me too, Chelsea. Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone, for spending your time with us today. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.